We're back right now. Talking about angels, demons, and spiritual tools. We're back. Tech problem behind us. Anyway, what is a demon? We're going to talk a little bit about that. It's interesting. What's your favorite part of the angels, demons, and spiritual tools audio? What is your favorite part? That's a question I wanted to ask people. How is it working in your life to have this information? Is it groundbreaking in your life? Information, life-changing information. I see a lot of people are having like major, profound shifts and realizations, which I had to also have, receiving this information from SOC during the whole process. So I had to have a lot of realizations myself. And just so you know, it leads to like 100 more questions. And I intend on trying to answer a lot of them as we go along, and we're doing these. But yeah, Uma says the whole book is my favorite part. Wow. That's amazing, Uma. Thank you for being here. Ria says, I have listened to the book 3 times already. You know what happens when you do that? Just another wow hits you. It's like, I didn't remember that. Or, whoa, that's right. The information's so thick and dense in there. Melanie says, the privilege of knowing. Whoa, that's really cool. That's a really cool part. Like healing with Anissa, life-changing. Angela, hi. Hey, I'll tell you right now, checkmate. I saw a checkmate right there. Wow. So I'm on here. I'm going to talk a little bit about it if you guys are okay with that. Angels, demons, and spiritual tools. Art for the Soul over there on YouTube says it's life-changing. Whoa. Whoa. So special. So special. Whistling. I saw that. Conrad whistling. Sick Boy says, my favorite part is that we can vanquish a demon that influenced us in the past. Ha ha. Yes, you can. And that's how powerful this is. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about and you're coming on here, angels, demons, and spiritual tools, you can go to Amazon, type in medical medium, right into Amazon, right there. In the books, audiobooks, all that area. Medical Medium, Angels, Demons, and Spiritual Tools. It's on Audible on Amazon. It's also on Spotify and Apple. I got a little clip right here that's interesting. Let me see if I could play this. I could actually show you instead. Me and tech do not blend well. I'm just showing you right here. Laura right there. I liked how you made reference to real people and situations occurring now. Indeed. Yeah, because it's powerful, real information. It applies in our lives. So I'll read a little bit too, just a couple little pieces. Talk about how it applies to our lives. It's amazing how it works. You know, you got the fallen angels. Fallen angels are not outnumbering God's angels, but yet there's so many demons involved working for the fallen angels, and not every demon works for the fallen angel. And there's so many demons involved that work for the fallen angels, doing their bidding, really tangling things up down here. Do you know anybody that you think might have some demons behind them? Have you ever met anybody in your life that you think might have some demons around them? Have you ever met anybody in your life that might be influenced by demons? Like you can tell there's influence there. Lynn Fouch, good to see you. Enlightenment part is profound, and now knowing the game. Checkmate. Life is shifting for me. The entire book is golden. Listened 3 times and going on the 4th. Gratitude. I'm honored, Lynn Fouch. Good to see you, by the way. It's always great to see you. Molly over there on IG, wowee. Your Demons Angels audio is just blowing me away. Really has helped me grasp very personal issues. Whoa. And you know, I think this is how demons work. Demons don't want you to know any of this. That's how it goes. With personal issues, including relationships, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. So it works like this. Demons don't want you to really know anything, because that's how the game is played. So we just walk around all kind of stupid down here on planet Earth. That's how it's supposed to go. So we end up, running into all kinds of problems like addiction and so forth and everything else. I mean, everything from suicide to addiction to just hardships on even a basic, minute level. Bullying is demonic all on its own. So we're not supposed to know, though, that demons play a role in it on any level, because that would be against what demons want, because demons want this to be secretive. They want this information to be, unheard, unknown, so that we just go about our business. Go about our business. Did you read the ghost information in it? Did you hear the ghost information in there? That's just mind-blowing when I think about it. Everybody thinks anything paranormal happening in their house or paranormal happening in some institution or an old school or an old hospital or something, a basement in an old hospital, and they see all this stuff happening. They think it's just all ghosts. It's always about ghosts. It's ghosts. It's ghosts. Just a 411, ghosts don't throw crap. Usually don't throw crap across a room, bang all kinds of locker cabinets, and do all kinds of things like that. Ghosts don't do that. Those are demons. Demons do that. Did you get into the whole push-pull demon thing? Did you see that? How many people, they're standing on the edge of the cliff? Like a real cliff. They're standing on the edge of a real cliff, and it's deemed a freak accident. I mean, they weren't even too far off, the edge. They were just, 4 feet away. And you know what's crazy is I remember I saw something years ago, a story of this husband and this wife. They went to this beautiful place to overlook some trees and some mountains, some hills, and so forth. And they were in an area that people usually sit and they picnic, and they put out a blanket and they put out a towel and they bring a little picnic basket. They crack open a bottle of wine and bring out a piece of cheese or something, some brie or something. And they're enjoying the sightseeing and all that. And they're 15 feet from the edge of the cliff. And all of a sudden, the woman gets up and she's standing there and she's stretching and she loses her footing. She's 15 feet. And all of a sudden, boom, 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 goes off the cliff, goes all the way down, drops 100 feet, hits all kinds of branches, gets dismembered, just everything horrible that you could ever think of, lands on the ground somewhere. It's like the husband didn't push her off. And it's crazy how that works. Is how did that happen? Freak accident? What, a freak accident? Is that what it is? I love when things are passed off as freak accidents too. It's really empowering when you know information so you can see more. And Angels, Demons, and Spiritual Tools is an eye opener, but it's like a real eye opener. So you're not blind, so you can actually see what's going on. I noticed this when you study this information, when you hear it and you hear it more than one time, you just keep on listening to it. And you listen to it whenever you can, right? It's like everything just starts really opening up. You see things entirely different. You see the world entirely different. When you're on the road and you're driving, and there's somebody really pissed off and angry, and they're like a road rager, and they're beeping behind you or something like that, or driving around you and cutting you off or something, now. Why they're demonically possessed in some way or influenced. They're a road rage, right? That's the kind of situation where people get out of their cars and they go and they kill somebody else. They get out and they have a tire iron in their hand or a gun or something like that, and they go and they shoot and they kill somebody else on the road or something. When you see, there's stuff like that happens every day out there. It's something that happens every single day, this road rage thing. And then there's a lot of innocent people that are involved with the road rage thing. But you wonder how it even gets to that degree. You wonder how it gets to that point. How did it even get to that point? Just because somebody woke up on the wrong side of the bed? Boom. They woke up one morning, they're cranky, they woke up on the wrong side of the bed and something's just wrong, and now this happens. But what you notice when you learn this information about how demons work, it starts to open up and you start seeing so many things. How did that woman fall off that cliff down 100 feet? And land down there and just get chewed up and boom, just fell and got ripped apart going down. You had hitting branches and all kinds of things. Like, why would that happen? They were just picnicking. Everything was fine. It wasn't somebody that was feeble. They actually were strong. And they just go off the cliff. And I just, there's another story too. This one happened recently. I mean, you could probably find this one somewhere in the media. A friend was telling me about this one, said he saw the story out there. As like a guy who just dove off a cliff in Hawaii because it's a famous spot. You'll probably know more information about this than me because I don't have the details about the famous spot and everything like that in Hawaii. And a guy that actually knows how to swim and knows how to dive. Guy dives down in there, boom, never surfaces, just gets washed away. And, you wonder how a lot of these things, first of all, like what made him go and want to dive like that anyway? Like what pushes people to do dangerous things like bungee jumping? What pushes somebody to bungee jump? Is just because they want to prove themselves that they don't fear anything. And that's a whole nother thing. It's like the challenge of fear. I don't fear this. I'm going to jump out of that plane. I'm going to get my license to fly a plane and then, and send all my friends jumping out of it with parachutes. I don't fear anything. I'm going to go parachuting and have a trainer teach me how to parachute so I could jump out of planes. I'm going to face my fears. Why isn't this parachute opening? How come it's not opening? Oh, shit. Splat. But basically, the bottom line is all these things are happening. But this stuff happens every day. This isn't this one thing. This isn't just one thing. It's one thing. It's like cave divers, okay? The whole thing with cave divers. Now, how many people go into caves, they're diving, and they're going down, but they know they're supposed to go back after a third of their tank has been depleted. A third of their tank has to be depleted. Like, it's depleted for them to go back. But what happens is there's some kind of adrenaline surge that happens, like an adrenaline high. But who's propelling that adrenaline high? The guy knows, he's conscious. He knows that he has to turn back after a third of the tank has been depleted. 33% of the tank is down. But he's down there in a cave that's, as narrow as like 2 feet wide, 2.5 feet wide. And he's down in this cave and he keeps on going further and further because he's trying to explore a new part of the cave that hasn't been documented yet. And he wants a big plaque, with his name on it. And then he ends up obviously dying down there and he has a plaque with his name on it somewhere else. But the point is like, it's amazing how it works. Like what's driving the guy? The guy looks at his tank meter and he sees he's down a third of a tank. Am I boring you guys with this information? I'm talking about angels, demons, and spiritual tools. You got to listen to this original audio. You can go to Spotify. You can go to Amazon Audible. Type in medical medium, angels, demons, and spiritual tools. So you got a guy, he's cave diving. He's been down there for 2 hours. He's got a third of his tank is down. He's in some narrow cave. He's 300 feet down. He knows if he keeps on going, he's going to get in trouble, but he can't help it, so he keeps on going. Why can't he help it? What's telling him to keep on going? What in his consciousness is telling him to keep on swimming? Do you know? Basically, he doesn't want to die. The guy doesn't want to die, but he keeps on swimming. And then he's down in that cave, and he realizes, oh shit, I went too far. Now I'm so far in, I can't make it on the way back. So what I need to do is go find an air pocket. So I'm going to keep on swimming until I can get to the certain part of the cave that I heard folklore in this cave back 20 years ago. There was a guy in here and he said he found an air pocket. So now the guy's trying to find an air pocket. The air pocket never shows up. He runs out of his oxygen. But what drove him to do that? It's another thing too. And it's the same thing. Like what drives people to jump off of a bridge with a cord attached to their leg, their ankle, going for a fun ride? Is it fun? Or is it demons like trying to get the best of someone? I mean, I'm in a different area now that what I'm talking about with this angels, demons, and spiritual tools. I'm kind of in a different area. There's all kinds of stuff to talk about, but I'm in an area though that's really interesting. But then it kind of goes along the freak accident area too, like with it, the freak accident thing, and that's a whole nother thing all on its own. So back to what I was saying is you got all these angels, all right? You got God's angels. They haven't fallen. God's angels that haven't fallen. And then you got these angels that have fallen. And then you got angels that are falling. They're falling. They're playing both sides. They seem to think they're doing the best for themselves. They think they're doing the best. The mission is right. Isn't that interesting? You know anybody out there, like in the world, like humans that do stuff like that? They're sitting on the fence. They're playing both sides. You ever find that out? Do you ever see that out there? Are there humans that you've met in your day or met in your time here on planet Earth? Do you ever met any humans? They play both sides, right? They're like loyal here a little bit for this, but not really that loyal. And then they're loyal here for a little of this. They play both sides and they think they got the game down, right? Meanwhile, who are they fooling? Like something like that. But what happens is these falling angels, they think they're doing what's right. They think they got God's back a little bit enough. They think they're smarter than God, a little bit smarter than God. The falling angels, I'm not saying falling. The falling angels, they're a little smarter than God, they feel like. They also feel like they're kind of like smarter than the fallen angels that have already fallen. And they're in between. They think they're smart. They think they got it down. So that's the falling angel. They're in the process of falling. So that's interesting information that came from SOC. If you guys just got on here, I'm talking about angels, demons, and spiritual tools. Just go to Amazon, type in medical medium angels, demons, and spiritual tools, Spotify, Apple. You won't be disappointed. You guys, right? I mean, I'm just going to tell you right now, it works like this with me when I'm talking to SOC and getting this information. I'm getting mind blown. I'm not just like, yeah. I'm just like, what? Oh my God. Like, what? Yeah, I didn't know. What do you mean there's no Grim Reaper, but there is kind of like a Grim Reaper, but there's no Grim Reaper. Did you get to that part? It's the Angel of Soul Life. Did you get to that part? When I heard that, I was just like blown away. I don't even know what to say. Said Rachel over there. Real Chelsea Field. Hey, real Chelsea Field. Chelsea, what are you doing? Dear friend of mine, beloved friend of mine. The best audio book ever, exclamation points. Thank you for all that amazing info. I haven't talked to you in a little bit. I'm so excited that you're listening to it. Wow. Thanks, Charles. So, yeah. The thing is with this information, too, is it's really dense. I'm just going to say it again. I have to, because you think you may have digested all of it or taken it all in, but it takes time. I know, because I can listen to it again and be like, what? That's right. And I recorded it. Like, I did the recording. For Hay House, my pub. Kate over there gave me the most compassion and forgiveness I've ever been able to reach for myself, because I was doing a lot of self-blame. I've been rebirthed. This explains the insane, injurious events. And what happens here is, here's what demons want right here. Demons want shit to happen. Just excuse my French. So sorry. Demons want things to happen, and then we blame ourselves. That's just how it works. Blame ourselves. Oh, I wish I did this. I wish I did that. Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? What was wrong with me? I'm such a crappy person. I'm a bad person. I'm a terrible person. Wait a minute. This happened to me? Why? I must deserve the punishment. I must be deserving of it. I must be deserving of all these things to happen. And we're not taught how to protect ourselves from demons. We're not taught about how to protect ourselves. And interesting, you hear, okay, you got the film industry. They talk about demons, but it's all just bullshit, right? Because it's the film industry and it's just scary movies, and obviously it's not real, so it's all bullshit. And then you got demons in our civilization language on this planet. Human civilization. You have demons they're just intertwined into the wording, like, oh man, you're demonic. Yeah, you're being demonic. Wow, that person's demons are like out of control, right? You hear things like stuff like that. But people in the end, what do they really know or feel? But when you actually hear this information and know how it works and what it's about, like, what is a demon? And then you learn all that information. It's just like, it's a whole nother level. It really is. Iona says, will us killing demons make a difference in the spiritual war? I believe so. I believe so. I do. I do. I think what's happening, it's so out of control now, and you can see it out there. It's so out of control. I mean, not a lot of people care about people these days. It doesn't work like the world has changed. People really don't give a crap about people. People can watch somebody dying in the street and they'll just walk by. And there's a reason for that in a lot of ways. I mean, you know, also people are scared, like, I'm not going to get involved or something. You hear that, but that's just what I'm saying is that's just one example, extreme example. People don't really care about people much in the world anymore. I think a lot of people are very selfish these days out in the world too. It's a lot of it's a big deal. Awareness alone and not giving into demons is going to make a difference. Awareness about this information alone and not giving in to demons makes a huge difference. Huge difference. That alone can change this world. That alone can change this world. And that's what this information is. It's life-changing information. It's not just for fun. It's not for fun. This is life-changing information, world-changing information. Like world-changing information. You know? Yeah. Kid Jordan over there on YouTube. Bully is demonic because I've been bullied all of my life. I'm just kind. You know what's interesting, Kit, is like, I've been bullied. I've been bullied. And, you know, bullying, it's demonic for sure. Bulliers, either influenced by demons, they can also be a bad person. That's a whole nother thing too. A person can be just a shitty person, a bad person. A person can be just that and still have demons too. Both. A person could be a really bad person, no compassion, just terrible person, only gives a crap about themselves, you name it, everything around it, and then have demons too on top of it. You can have a cold-hearted, demented, despicable, devious person, and that's who they are. That's who they are. I know in the new age out there, it's just like, you know, you'll hear like, no, everybody's good. Everybody's got good in them. How many times have I heard that? You still hear that out there. Everybody's got good in them. Everybody's a good person. Really? Not everybody's a good person. Where do you think the demons came from? Where do you think they came from? And that's the information you find in Angels, Demons, and Spiritual Tools in here. What is a demon? A demon was a human. A demon is a human soul. That's what a demon is. How did you become a demon as a human soul? You became a demon as a human soul because you were one bad human. You don't believe there's bad humans here? And you don't believe there's bad human souls here? Man, you see it every day. Death, destruction, war, hate, crime. I mean, you see it. You don't think there's bad people. Sure, there's people that try to change their ways. They make big mistakes. Of course, they fight for it and they try to change their ways. They try to restore who their soul is. They do everything they can, and they can crawl out of it. But there's people that don't want to crawl out of it. They're not looking to crawl out of it. They're not looking to better themselves and heal their soul and repair their soul. They're not looking to that. They're looking just to wreak havoc, still wreak havoc. There's people out there that do that. And it's dark. And yeah, they become a demon. If you listen to the audio, you'll see how they become a demon. Wondering Wishin over there on YouTube says the audiobook is a lot of new true info. A lot for me to take in. I take a few days off just to let it sink in. And now, on my second time listening, it's incredible. Thank you, SOC and AW. You know, I play very little role in this, unfortunately, because, you know, I have the privilege and the honor to listen to SOC, and I bite my lip saying that because, you know, SOC's been a pain in my butt since I was 4 years old. But I do have the ability to be mature about it and to be like, I do, appreciate SOC to such an extent. And it is a privilege and an honor to have this information from SOC. And so, yeah, it's life-changing and it's incredible information. Okay, so Betsy over there on IG says, literally amazed at this original material, making everything make more sense. Clarity on so many levels. And that's an interesting comment. Thank you, Betsy. Clarity matters. And what this does is it creates this clarity. It provides this clarity. Honestly, I see things even differently by having to do, because usually I'm steeping deep in the medical, save lives, deep in the medical information, true reasons why someone's chronically sick, true reasons, not all the biohack crap and the eat better books that have happened all these decades, not that stuff, true reasons, getting people out of sickness and poor health and chronic illness and getting them to heal and bring them back, rising out of the ashes. That's what I've been buried deep in, right? Up to my neck, right? In that for so long. And, always talking to spirit of compassion about different things spiritually happening in the world, about Mars, planet Mars, and so forth, and all kinds of stuff. But when I really worked on this original audio with SOC, I was just like, eyes are open wider now. Now they're open wider now. Spirit of compassion, you always told me about demons. You already told me about that. Yes, you told me they're real. You told me why, all these things. But man, when you crack into it and you get this information, then you're just like, bing, my eyes are like open. They're open. And they were open to a degree before, but now yeah. Seriously. Over there on IG, Marisol over there, 144, great number, 144. That is a number. You know how people are like 11:11, what time is it, 11:11? And they got these numbers and stuff. That number doesn't even touch 144. You look for that number, 144. I lived with a narcissist and really wished I had this knowledge then. Wow. I understand. However, repeating, I'm onto you, would have been part of my everyday vocabulary. Message received. And thank you for leaving that comment. It matters to me. Your lives matter to me. Your health, your mental state, all of it matters. This information is to offer you something. It's to offer you something that really, really makes a difference, really matters. And I know there's going to be a few people that are like, demons, I don't want to hear about that. It's scary, or, but someday, you might want to listen to this. Someday. It's not scary to be empowered and have the information to help you in your life. You don't want to be blind. You don't want to be blind and not be able to see in front of you. You don't want that. You don't, because you might meet somebody and this information is powerful because you can weed out demons. You can help. You meet somebody and they got demons and you don't know it, but you're not sure. And then they're playing with you, but you think it's all good. They're playing with you. You think it's all good. They're playing with you. You think it's all good. And then finally you got bit. You got bit too much. You got bit on the hand too many times. And you're like, what the hell just happened? That was a freaking roller coaster ride. What the hell is that? I talked about in Angels, Demons, and Spiritual Tools, I talked about the roller coaster, right? And I talked about the so-called ghost that was in on the ride, right? The ghost that was spotted and on the ride. Spirit of Compassion told me, no, that was a demon. And so I saw somebody posted that out there. A friend of mine said, you got to take a look at this. I was like, what? And they showed the roller coaster and everything going by, and they showed the demon on the back of the cart. And I was just like, oh my God. I think Cable said, so grateful you're sharing this information, a lifeline in the darkness. I know that people want to live in a bubble, they want their blinders on, and they want to live in a bubble, and I get that. And if they got enough resources, things in their life, enough support, they can skate by like that. But then something's just going to something always just, an alligator always snaps its jaws and gets somebody's foot, and it just happens, it's the world we live in. Demons love people being naive too. They just love that. They love you not knowing there's demons. They love not knowing about, they love people not thinking demons are behind anything, behind people, behind what people are thinking, influencing them and so forth. And that's another thing, the free will thing, how it can alter somebody's free will. How screwed up is that? When I found that out from Spirit of Compassion, that one hit me really hard, because free will that's ours. That's you. That's yours. No one can touch that. But yet a demon can influence a person, kind of like creating a situation where the person changes a choice they're making. They're using their free will to change a choice they're making that's not that great for them, because the demon's influencing them. So now their free will's being altered and shifted. How crazy is that? That information is mind-blowing. I don't care what anybody says, hands down, that just blew my mind open. Soul Light over there on IG says, I am a therapist, and this book brings therapy to a whole new level. Wow. That's a compliment. Truly is. Over there on IG, okay, let's see. Family Gratitude. Because of the audio, it takes away the fear and just empowers our lives. I got to tell you something about that. That's incredible, because, fear develops when you're just getting the crap beat out of you along the way in life too. It's like, that's how it develops, right? You got a hot stove, the stove's on, you're a little child, you touch the stove, you're burned, and now you're afraid of that stove, right? But we go through life and we get burned in all these different areas, and that also creates fear, because bad relationship, boom, got burned there. A bad friend, I listened to this friend told me to do this, we all got hurt, bad there. Right? You get burned there. You get burned along the way. It happens in this world, right? It just does. You're walking on a sidewalk and there's black ice and you can't see it, and it's 20 degrees out, and you slip, you crack the back of your head. It's like we get burned, and we go through life and we get burned all the time. And that creates the fear. And sometimes that fear is good, because you don't want to touch a hot stove. You don't want to slip on black ice. You don't. But at the same time, we get a lot of wounds that also get incorporated into the fear when it's other people derived. It's one thing to be walking down the sidewalk alone and you just don't see it, and you slip on some black ice and you crack the back of your head and you're like, son of a gun, that was really bad. And now you're fearing that, and you go outside and you're like, whoa, I black ice and me we don't get along, and you got to be careful. It's one thing, right? It's another, you're walking along with a friend and and something happens, the friend shoves you and you slip on the black ice. And now you get into an argument with a friend and you slip on the black ice, and you feel like the argument with the friend most likely involved that. That's how that freak accident happened. And you're like, wait a minute. And then you start fearing different things. You start learning, and it's a whole nother thing. People have demons. They just do. They have demons around them. And then there's family tree Derms, right? You guys, one thing I want to talk to you about is demon is not even the real word. That's not even the real word. How crazy is that? If you don't know what I'm talking about, angels, demons, and spiritual tools, type in medical medium, angels, demons, and spiritual tools, go to Amazon, go to Spotify, listen to it for free, right? If you got Spotify and the whole bit, listen to it for free. I mean, everybody's pretty much listening to it for free. If they're signed into all those different places, you can, that you stream all your stuff. But what's crazy about it is demon isn't even the real word. That's the second word that developed through human language, where it became demon later. Spirit of Compassion told me there was something earlier called Derms. So Derms. And so not demons, but Derms. And that's really powerful, because you don't think it's powerful, but it is. Because once you use that term, demons, like, how did you know that? How did you know that? And it gives you power. It's like true empowerment when you know their real name. It's incredible. So right there, you guys see this? I don't know if you can see it right there. Angels, demons, and spiritual tools. That's what it looks like. So if you get a chance, go to Amazon Audible, right? Spotify, Apple. Think about it. Demons were humans. Demons think they're smarter than anyone. Demons think they're smarter than the people all living their life here on Earth. Demons know that you don't know, that nobody knows their real name, which is Derms. And then when you get empowered with that information and you have their real name already, boom, you just pulled out an ace. You just pulled out an ace. Chris over there on YouTube says, I was scared at first, but after I finished reading, I feel liberated. Incredible. Incredible. Wendy says, this audio was such an eye-opener. And that's the whole point. I mean, you'll see things different, see people differently. Learning this information is beyond empowering. And then you have tools to disempower, de-strengthen demons. Is de-strengthen a word? De-strengthen demons. You actually have the power to do that. And that's powerful. Elizabeth over there says, I've listened to the audiobook once, and I'm on my second time listening. Great information.
Yes, people are careless out there in the world. Accidents happen every day where people get hurt and injured. Are all accidents purely human error? Or are demonic forces involved in so much of what we think of as bad luck, happenstance, and freak accidents? Demons love when something terrible happens and someone keeps saying to themselves, if I only did this, if I only did that, why wasn't I this? Why wasn't I that? Demons want you to take that hit. Demons want you to go into despair. They want you to feel hopeless, to go to a dark place, to think that dark place is where you belong. Demons don't want people to know they could be involved. They want you to feel like a failure, to think that what happens is your fault because you are an inadequate person, a bad person.
And that's what demons want. They want you thinking you're a bad person, you're inadequate, that it's your fault, the whole bit. Demons want you to take the hit. It's right here. Demons want you to go into despair. They want you to feel hopeless, to go to a dark place, to think that dark place is where you belong. Yeah, and a lot of people feel that way. They do. It's no joke. A lot of people go into that dark place, that rabbit hole, and they just feel like, whoa, this is where I need to belong. This is who I am. It's terrifying. Demons don't want people to know they could be involved, meaning demons don't want people to know that demons could be involved. They want you to feel like a failure, to think that what happens is your fault because you are an inadequate person, a bad person. Yeah, I mean, look, accidents happen and people make mistakes. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. But demons would love you to believe that every single thing that happens, you're just a crappy, bad person. Just that's how it works. And you might be saying, that's not me, and it doesn't. And then 2 years from now, you're like, oh, God, why did that happen? I'm such a terrible person. Now I'm sick with chronic illness, and now or this and this. I must have just did this to myself. Demons love that. They love that. And somebody might feel like they're on top of the world right now. You see it every day. I mean, it just happens. People feel like they're young, they're indestructible. They think they're on top of the world. They think they're so smart because everything's on the internet. You can just look up anything. You know what I mean? There's every app on the planet. And they just think they're so smart. They think they're, whatever. And then boom, 8 years, from now, they're like, they're on some kind of addiction. They're like on some kind of drug. They're, using shrooms every day and they're blowing their mind out. Like whatever. I mean, I'm just one example of a billion. But It's demons are there. They're ready to really kind of like steer people in a bad direction and send them in a bad direction and everything else. It just happens. A lot of demonic stuff's happening during spring break, like this whole spring break thing that just happened. So many different things that have happened where people send their kids out spring break. It's like, okay, honey, you'll be fine. Don't worry, come back. And something terrifying happens. It's every day. It's like there's demons everywhere. You don't think there's demons happening in all the parties during spring break? There's no demons there in those parties. You know what's crazy is, and people aren't bringing their demons, and demons aren't being involved, but alcohol and everything else, the amount of demons involved just in alcohol consumption is a whole nother game all on its own. But that's having eyes and being able to see and not having blinders on and having this information is like the next level. It's the next level. I mean, that's what I'm learning from Spirit of Compassion just by getting all this information down. And whoa, it's something else. It really is. So if you get a chance, Angels, Demons, and Spiritual Tools, if you get a chance, check it out on Amazon, Audible, Spotify, Apple, right? And you can find it. Type in medical medium. There you go. Ray over there says, my ex-husband okay, sorry. Yeah, it's moving quick. I'm trying to get it back down. My ex-husband took his life 43 years ago. I was there when he did it. Oh my God. He was going to shoot me as well. But all of a sudden, he decided not to. He said he was the bad one, not me. Just know, first of all, just reading that, you need to know, Roxy, just reading that, I like have tremendous respect when just you going through that and staying here. I mean, that's 43 years ago and you're still here. You're still here. Something inside of you. There's something inside of you that says, no, I'm going to fight for it. I'm going to be a fighter. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to be a fighter. And that's a big deal. I'm not just reading your comment and just blah, 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 blah. That right there, that hits me hard because having a psychic mind and also being able to hear a voice, Spirit of Compassion, and having that ability and having that ability to see when I'm reading that, I'm seeing things that I'm not saying. I'm seeing things. I'm going back to 43 years ago. I'm going back there. SOC is talking to me. Just know that my heart pours out to you. So, you guys, angels, demons, and spiritual tools. The tech problems we have is another. I don't have TikTok on right now. Just so you know, I won't even put TikTok on because they'll ban me for talking about this. Just talking about demons, they'll ban me. So anyway, let me head over to page 68, if you don't mind. If you don't mind me doing that, I think it's over here somewhere. Nope. Come on. Where am I going? Oh, right here. Here we go.
No one understands how many factors are involved, including free will. And that's why people then blame God and the angels for doing nothing. They think God has a magic wand and should be able to fix everything with one wave of God's wand. Yet God, at the beginning, created a set of laws. These laws surround the existence of free will. Change one of these laws, and the fabric of free will becomes altered.
All right, so that's a really powerful piece of information all on its own right there, okay? And so I want to talk about like what leads that to, what leads us there anyway, okay? So to begin with, there's only so many of God's angels. That's just to begin with automatically. Then you have a portion of the angelic realm that fell. That portion of the angelic realm that fell, okay, it's a smaller percentage. It's still a lot of angels, okay? And then you have the angels that are falling. They really don't want to jump. They don't want to jump to God. They don't want to jump to somebody in strife. They want to make the decision really kind of like if they want to even help. They're in the process of falling. So there's a lot of things. And a lot of people do think that God has this magic wand. And this is information that's just blew my mind. It just does. And so I'm reading here, no one understands how many factors are involved, including free will. And that's interesting, including free will. And that's why people then blame God and the angels for doing nothing. So when something happens, and why didn't God stop it? Why didn't God fix this? Why didn't God stop this? It's the thing I think that also really breaks Christianity in so many ways, because there's so many people, they're Christians, and then something happens in their life, and then they have to choose their faith. It's like, do I stay a Christian? Do I believe in God? Because why would this happen to my son, my daughter? Why would this happen to my uncle, my aunt? And what happens is that, like, if there's a God, why would this happen? If there's a God, why would God let that happen to me? Okay, I could see God letting it happen to somebody else, but not me. So what happens is, you people, they go through this process, this brain screw about God and about Jesus and about their faith, the religion. And it doesn't even have to be Christianity. It could be something else. And they go through this whole thing. It could be another religion, it could be another faith. Okay, so just using that as an example. And they go through this process, and they're just like, why didn't God wave his magic wand? And so they get really upset. And free will has something to do with a lot of this too. Free will that the angels have, they have free will, and that's a whole other thing all on its own. So no one understands how many factors are involved, including free will. And that's why people then blame God and the angels for doing nothing. They think God has a magic wand and should be able to fix everything with one wave of God's wand. Yet God, at the beginning, created a set of laws. These laws surround the existence of free will, and that's a problem too, because God created all these laws based around free will. And Spirit of Compassion was telling me all about that, and it just blew my mind. Change one of these laws. You guys hear that? Change one of these laws, and the fabric of free will becomes altered. And that's another thing all on its own. So you change these laws, free will is just out the window. Anyway. You guys, if you get a chance, would love for you guys to hear this. I'm sitting, okay, so Steffi over there on IG, I'm sitting here 2 months postpartum, struggling so much, been avoiding IG because these expectations and standards are hard to match. I'm so glad I'm on today and caught this live. Just know my heart pours out to you. Any kind of struggle you're going through, any kind of difficulties, anything like that, just know that I care. Spirit of Compassion cares. Sue's over there on IG. My daughter was murdered by her husband 11 years ago. I don't even know how to take that in. I'm like right there. So my daughter was murdered by her husband 11 years ago in front of the kids. I got her 4 kids. There has been major bad energy in the second son. He killed his sister's dog. He is now 24, evil. Wow. And that's the thing when it comes down to demons, is there's different degrees of demons. And that's the thing too, you guys, when you listen to this audio, it's an original audio. Type in angels, demons, and spiritual tools. It's an original audio, and I talk about the different levels of demons. It's just, they're not all the same. They're not all equal, just like humans are not all the same, and their souls are not all equal as well. And then depending on how evil a soul really is, and then so meaning a human soul, right? Human, alive, and in their physical form right here on planet Earth. And then depending on how evil that human is, like truly evil that human is, and that human then passes on, dies. And then their soul, if you heard this, right? Their soul basically goes up for grabs. I'm just giving you like the quick rendition, real quick rendition, not you have to listen to the audio, but their soul basically goes up for grabs. And you can get more dangerous demons, ones that are more evil, ones that embark in fallen angels and they're bidding, ones that will work for fallen angels because they're so dark. And then they just they create bad things to happen. It's just heartbreaking. My heart's broken. Kirsten over there on YouTube, it really helped me forgive my dad that passed from a drug OD. That's a big deal. I've talked about that too in here. The drug addiction involved with the demons. Elena says the book is absolutely mind-blowing. Answers to many questions. Thank you so much, Anthony. June over there on Facebook. Wow, amazing information. Mind-blowing. You guys, I'm going to do another one of these soon too. I'm seeing a lot of great comments come up. Wonderful. Julie Tuesday, 144. You're always being so supportive. You're on YouTube. You're always answering people and being so great to them. Just know I see it, and I really appreciate it. Learning that demons were once humans made a huge difference in how I perceive them, and it makes a huge difference how I perceive them. It's a reminder. Spirit always told me this, that part, that humans become the demons, and I just never talked about it, but because I wanted all the information to get in here, to be able to really put the information out for people so they get all the pieces. But yeah, Allison over there on YouTube, I had a demon take over my husband at the time and tell me he wanted to chop me up into little pieces. Oh my God, dear Lord. And tell me it wanted to chop me up in little pieces. Oh my God. Yeah, but we're supposed to all sweep that under the carpet, right? We're supposed to just think that's just crazy people or something like that. And yeah, somebody could be an evil person in dark, like I said, and be a very cold-hearted person. But demons they can really do some serious damage with all of this. Annette says, I have never understood why demons in the family attack those who seek peace and harmony. Now it makes sense, and I have doubts whether my family is too harmful to my daughters. I think what happens when, your consciousness, it's like really opened up. When you hear like the whole thing, like get your third eye open and, and you meditate and get your consciousness, geared up and, all the things and do all the self-help and all that stuff. And that's all great, but I mean, it's all great and all, but without the information, we're still left stranded. I think that this is a world changer. And that's the thing. If you don't have the knowledge, how are you going to know? How are you going to know? Same thing about if you don't know why you're really, truly sick. If you tried every biohack, you're still sick or whatever it is, you're just not past it. It's a mystery. Until you know why you're sick, you're not going to heal. You have to know why and how you can address it. And in this situation, on a spiritual level, this information, it's like you learn how this is happening or how something's happening out there. You have to have the knowledge in order to address it and take it head on and heal and bypass this information and jump ahead, be free from it, free from demons. Derms. That's an empower thing all on its own, an empowering thing. Knowing their true name. Derms. Jess Elaine, I'm amazed at how specific, detailed, and deep it all is. You think I let you down, Jess? Spirit of compassion, not going to let you down. Beth Page, it is helping with my nail biting addiction. To think that they could be taking advantage of that is helping me stop that habit. And they can be taking advantage of that. There are demons that are of lesser damage or lesser depths of evil, but they're still evil and dark. And they would love you to bite your nails off your fingers. They would love you to bite your nails right off your fingers. Anyway, until next time, you guys. And there will be a next time. I will be talking about angels, demons, and spiritual tools. Lena W., the book is amazing. Feel so empowered now to work for God and the light. Feels like time is slowing down too. Can concentrate better and feel more present. See what happens when you push away demons and you disempower them and you start moving forward? See what happens? It's powerful. Powerful. You guys check out the Medical Meme Podcast at Apple Podcasts when you get a chance. Listen to those episodes. Those are profound. The information from SOC, it's all incredible. So make sure you check that out. Check out my Telegram. I'm on Rumble, the whole bit. Look, that's it right there. There it is. Go check it out. Angels, Demons, and Spiritual Tools. Right there. Go to Amazon, Audible. Type it in if you want. Go to Spotify. Go to Apple. It's the most profound, powerful information there is on demons. And just move demons aside. On spiritual information in general. On the soul. Just the soul alone. And other information too. There's so much here. It's not just about demons. It's empowering on all kinds of levels. And those spiritual tools in here help on all levels too. So just know that this is a world changer. And God bless. God bless.